Hello dear student. Today we are going to start our fifth lecture in which we will start how the erection of penis occurs and the types of male reproductive glands. So let us start with erection of penis. How the erection of penis occurs. Erection of penis occurs when the filling of blood occurs in the spaces which are present between the erectile tissue bundles, and these are called as cavern. The sexual behavior is controlled by hypothalamus, which is a part of limbic system. So when the sexual excitement occurs, the parasympathetic nerve system get activated and it stimulates the endothelium of penile arteries to release nitric oxide, and also it stimulate PSNS stimulate and causes vasodilation of penis and also causes relaxation of crura muscles of penis, which is present at the base of penis, which is also called as root. Due to above activity, the blood supply of penis is increased and the filling of blood in the spaces present between the erectile tissues bundles, which are called as cavern, occurs. As a result of this, the enlargement of penis occurs and the stretching of tunica albuginea takes place, due to which the hardening of penis takes place and the erection of penis occurs, which perform the sexual activity. And when the sexual activity is performed, the SNS get activated, sympathetic nervous system get activated, due to which the ejaculation of semen occurs. So dear student, for the ejaculation of semen, who is responsible? SNS. Okay. And during sexual excitement, PSNS get activated. So PSNS is responsible for erection of penis and SNS is responsible for ejaculation of semen. And by the activity of SNS, the crura muscles which are relaxed now becomes constricted. And vasoconstriction of penis also occurs. As a result, the penis again comes in relaxing condition. In our previous lectures, we have already studied there are three types of male reproductive glands. Once again, we will see their location. Here is the urinary bladder, ureter. The vas deferens comes coiled around the ureter, and here it terminates into the ampulla. From the terminal part of the ampulla, a seminal vesicles or reproductive glands arises. That is one pair. And here spermatic duct, and spermatic duct opens into the prostatic urethra, that is membranous urethra. From this membranous urethra, another gland that is called as Copper's glands arises, which opens into the penile urethra. And this is heart-shaped structure, that is 5-lobed gland, that is called as prostate glands, are present around the prostatic urethra. The lobes of the prostate glands are arranged around the prostatic urethra. So let us start with seminal vesicles. Seminal vesicle is one pair and it is internally lined by glandular epithelium. Its secretion is transparent jelly-like and its secretion forms 60 to 70%, means the maximum part of the semen is formed by the secretion of seminal vesicles, and it is slightly alkaline in nature with pH of 7.3. If we see the composition of components present in this secretion of seminal vesicles, the maximum amount of fructose is present, which is responsible to provide energy to sperm, means it acts as a fuel to sperm. Clotting enzyme, fibrinogen, etc., as well as a prostaglandin is present, which provide motility to sperm. A special sugar that is called as inositol and several other proteins are also present in seminal vesicle secretion. The prostate glands, the another reproductive glands of male, but you have to remember here it is single, while the seminal vesicles and Copper's glands are paired reproductive glands. It is unpaired, but it is 5-lobed in structure, which surrounds the prostatic urethra. It also secretes alkaline fluid, which is milky white, thick and sticky secretion with pH of 7.2. If we see the composition of prostatic gland, the prostatic gland secretes a maximum amount of citric acid, which provide the motility to the sperm, as well as it consists of calcium and certain clotting enzymes which help in the coagulation of semen in the male genital tract. This is profibrinolysin, which is also present in the secretion of prostate glands. Let us see the function of profibrinolysin. Here is the secretion of seminal vesicles. Fibrinogen is present in the secretion of seminal vesicles. Similarly, profibrinolysin and certain clotting enzymes, as we discussed now, present in prostate. These clotting enzymes and these clotting factors which are present in the secretion of both of these glands, when comes in contact with each other in the prostatic urethra, we have already learned in our previous lecture that the secretion of both these glands unite at prostatic urethra. When these secretions comes into the prostatic urethra, the semen get coagulated. So, by the coagulation of semen, the energy of sperm get conserved. When the semen get ejaculated into the vagina of female during the course of copulation, thereafter when the coagulated semen reaches into the vagina, the profibrinolysin get activated into the fibrinolysin, and similarly an enzyme that is present of fibrogenase, which is present in the secretion of seminal vesicles, also get activated when it comes in contact with the vaginal secretion, and both of these enzymes help to dissolve the coagulated semen. Now the semen get liquefied in vagina and the sperm now becomes motile. This process is called as a capacitation. So capacitation is the ability of a sperm to fertilize the ova. Now the sperm is able to fertilize ova as it becomes motile in the female genital tract, especially in vagina. So capacitation takes place in vagina. The last reproductive male gland is Copper's gland, which is also called as bulbourethral glands. It is also secrete a transparent jelly-like substance with pH of 7.2, that is alkaline in nature. It is basically a mucus secretion, and the function of Copper's glands is to lubricate the penis and neutralizes the acidic medium of urethra so that the sperm cannot get killed when it is ejaculated. And the secretion of Copper's gland is the first secretion which is released during sexual excitement. Let us start the histology of seminiferous tubule. We have already studied seminiferous tubules are present in testis in their lobes. Single lobes consist of 1 to 3 seminiferous tubule. Here is the transverse section of seminiferous tubule. This is seminiferous tubules. Several seminiferous tubules are appearing here. This is one of the seminiferous tubule which consists of two types of cells. These are the cuboidal cells and these are columnar cells. These columnar cells are called as Sertoli cells, substanticular cells or nurse cells. substanticular cells, nerve cells or Sertoli cells. And these cuboidal cells are the germinal cells. And these Sertoli cells are non-germinal cells. These germinal cells are embedded into the seminiferous tubule during the fetal stage, when the primordial germ cells, which are formed from the mesoderm of yolk sac, migrated into the seminiferous tubule and get accumulated or embedded into the seminiferous tubule, that is called as germinal epithelium, which is cuboidal in nature. And when the division occurs in this germinal epithelium, then the spermatogonia are produced, which are the mother cells of sperm. So these are the spermatogonia cells and these are germinal epithelium cells. When these get divided, the mother cells of sperm, that is spermatogonia, are produced. This is the basement membrane. This is the basement membrane of seminiferous tubule and this is the lumen of seminiferous tubule. In lumen of seminiferous tubule, the mature sperms are present. The sequence of sperm producing cells from this basement to lumen are spermatogonia, primary spermatocyte, secondary spermatocyte, spermatids, and these spermatids are rounded elongated structures which give rise to elongated mature sperms, which are present in lumen, that we will see in spermatogenesis in detail. Here you can see these are the seminiferous tubule, and in between these seminiferous tubules the endocrine cells, that is called as Leydig cells or interstitial cells, are present. These interstitial cells or Leydig cells produces androgen hormones, that is testosterone. The Sertoli cells is having a specific function. As we have discussed now germinal cells and non-germinal cells. Non-germinal cells are columnar cells, which are called as Sertoli cells, and germinal cells are cuboidal cells, which are sperm producing cells. And I have told you these comes from mesoderm of yolk sac and migrated during the embryonic stage and reaches into the seminiferous tubule in the form of germinal epithelium. So these are extragonadal in origin, while the non-germinal cells are gonadal in origin, means they are produced inside the gonads, means inside the testes. Let us discuss about the function of Sertoli cells. The major role of Sertoli cells is to nourish the sperm, nourishment of sperm, and it also phagocytizes the extra cytoplasm synthesized during the spermatogenesis, and it also forms the blood testis barrier with tight junctions. With the formation of tight junctions, it forms blood testis barrier to prevent the death of sperm, as these are non-germinals, because the sperms are extragonadal in origin. Another function of Sertoli cells, they secrete certain substances like anti-Mullerian hormone, which regress or degenerates the Mullerian duct in male. They also secrete androgen binding protein, which help to concentrate the testosterone produced from the Leydig cells, which is present outside the seminiferous tubule, to concentrate inside the seminiferous tubule. So androgen binding protein help the testosterone to comes inside the seminiferous tubule, and hence it increases the concentration of testosterone inside the seminiferous tubule. It also secretes inhibin, and this inhibin is secreted when the spermatogenesis is in excess amount. It sends the feedback effect, or it controls the feedback, or it controls the level of testosterone in male by the feedback mechanism by inhibiting the synthesis of FSH by sending the feedback to anterior pituitary and hypothalamus. Here we can say, see, hypothalamus releases gonadal releasing hormone, that is FSH-RF and LHRF. LHRF, luteinizing hormone releasing factor, and FSH releasing factor, that is commonly called as gonadal releasing hormone, which stimulate the anterior pituitary to synthesize LH and FSH. This LH is also called as interstitial cell stimulating hormone, as it acts on Leydig cells which produces testosterone, and this testosterone is responsible for the growth and development of male reproductive tracts and organs. Means it is responsible for secondary sexual characters of male. And when these testosterone, the level of testosterone in male increases, becomes excess in amount, the negative feedback mechanism is sent mainly for anterior pituitary and to hypothalamus, by which, in spite of LHRF, LHIF is released. LH means luteinizing hormone and IF means inhibitory factor. This inhibitory factor inhibit the synthesis of LH from anterior pituitary, and thus the level of testosterone is maintained. Similarly, the FSH, which is secreted from anterior pituitary under the influence of gonadal releasing hormone, which is released from hypothalamus, act on the Sertoli cells. This FSH act on Sertoli cell, and this Sertoli cell produces androgen binding protein, and this androgen binding protein help in spermatogenesis by increasing the concentration of testosterone in seminiferous tubule. When there is excess spermatogenesis occurs, then a inhibin is released by these Sertoli cells, and this inhibin sends a feedback mechanism especially to anterior pituitary and hypothalamus, by which FSH IF is secreted in place of SHRF. Means FSH inhibitory factor are synthesized from hypothalamus, which inhibit anterior pituitary to stop the synthesis of FSH, and hence by the stoppage of FSH, the Sertoli cells stop producing androgen binding protein and spermatogenesis get stops. So students, here we will stop our 5th lecture, and in our 6th lecture we will study the gametogenesis, especially in male spermatogenesis. Thank you.